And I was a band kid. That was my group, was the band kids. My first job as a band director was at Miami East High School, which is in Miami County. Spent 14 years teaching. It's a hard life because it's just nonstop. You know, you work a regular teacher schedule all day long, and then you immediately go into rehearsal schedule, and then every Friday night you go into football game schedule, and then every Saturday you go to a contest, and then Sunday you're like collapsing on the couch and don't get anything accomplished because you've spent everything all week long. The auditorium was my classroom. Just out of my pure addiction to caffeine, I set up a coffee pot right there. It was a good way to get to know the other staff because they would talk for a second over a cup of coffee, and I started thinking, oh, a coffee shop would be a nice life. I was on the track at Troy High School. My assistant band director, Bonnie Sherman, and I were sitting there counting up how many football games we each had left in our careers. It was just hundreds, you know, of Friday nights. It was already planned for me. And I thought, wow, okay, I'd like to plan my own Friday nights. That was a moment that really helped me decide. And I quit my job. For a friend of mine, he and I were going to partner on a coffee shop. And we actually picked out a location in Beaver Creek near Wright State. We put in a bid for it, and they came back and said no. And it wasn't long after that that the economy was diving. In a way, I'm really glad that didn't happen, because I would have been a drive-through window and a fast-paced suburban driving, you know, more in the fast food realm versus the let's hang out realm. So then fast forward, I went back to teaching for 2 years. I drove to Cincinnati, commuted. The commute was awful. And they were doing construction on 75, and I was back to going Friday night football games. It really affected me pretty bad, because I thought I walked away from a great job to do my dream, which is now never going to happen, and so now I'm at this job that I hate. I moved to South Park. My landlord and I had talked, and they knew that I had this dream of opening a coffee shop. And they bought this house at the corner of Wayne and Clover to fix it up and get a business in there that would draw people in. It's been several things in the past, including a grocery store, a donut shop. It's been a laundromat, a lawnmower repair shop, a Hispanic grocery, a cell phone store more recently. And they said, all right, well, let's do this. Do you want to do it? And I said, sure, let me quit my job, and I did. The building was awful. There were big old holes in the floor. My landlord did a lot of that work. I mean, they did the big stuff. I did the build out, you know, the bar. I had people that helped me, of course. The bar itself, it's all constructed with materials taken out of houses that have been torn down here in Dayton. So we had to go through the zoning change, and then you got to go through hearings and architect drawings and resubmissions of architect drawings, things like that. It put things off about a year. I thought in that fall that we'd be open, so I was starting to build some motivation and get Facebook fans, and people were talking about it. And at some point, somebody sent some message to me. Is this a real business or an internet hoax? It hurt my feelings. I'm like, I'm trying. I just can't do anything, you know, because the zoning thing has stopped everything from happening. So here I am spending money and not making any money, and I've got a business I'm going to try to start. I really didn't think it would happen. To be honest, I think I was at a point where I'm like, I'm going to make a go of it, whether it works or not. I'm going to at least try. When I first opened, I thought, okay, I will recognize everybody that walks through that door. They'll either be neighbors or they'll be my friends. Most of the people, I had no clue who they were. I'm like, where are these people coming from? I don't know who these people are. It is a gathering place for the neighborhoods, but it's more than just the South Park neighborhood. It's lots of neighborhoods. It's been really interesting watching regulars and how regulars all of a sudden become friends. This person sits in this window, this person sits in this window every day, and then all of a sudden they're sharing at a table and sitting and talking. I get some touring musicians that stop in, and they like playing there because it feels more like a listening room rather than, you know, a bar setting where there's lots of talking going on.
And when you go, we'll miss you so. These fingers miss the touch of yours. It's true. Are you here?
It's definitely scary not knowing what the business is going to do. Yeah, I won't say that I don't worry about it, because I do. I knew opening a business that it would like consume everything. But I was willing to make that choice because it was my choice. It wasn't, this is a Friday night, so you're at this game. In Dayton, there's this attitude of just make it happen.